platform, and the new memberships template can help streamline your work. So I'm going to spend a quick 2 to 3 minutes covering the what's and whys of FileMaker templates, and then we're going to jump into a demo showcasing how the memberships template can address problems now and also evolve with your business needs. But before we get started, I have some brief housekeeping notes. So for the best experience, we strongly recommend that you participate in this webinar with at least a broadband connection. And if you have any problems or require online assistance at any time, please contact Citrix Technical Support at 888-259-8414. Now, throughout the webinar, you're going to have the opportunity to ask me a question or even just make a comment. So click on the GoToWebinar control panel, click on the question section, enter your question, and click on send. And remember, you don't have to wait until the end to submit a question. So feel free to comment at any time. And in fact, now is actually a great time to comment and share your current obstacles in your jobs related to services. Now, speaking of overcoming obstacles, the FileMaker templates, they're a fantastic resource to solve problems where you can own your customization yourself, or if you decide to work with one of our trusted developers, you could use the FileMaker templates as a better starting point than beginning from scratch. Either way, the FileMaker templates, they're an easily accessible resource to help dig you out of your work ruts, and in particular, the work ruts related to your current processes for memberships. Now, where can you get it? We'll download the template directly off of FileMaker's website, where there are dedicated pages for each of the FileMaker templates for you to explore. And the best part is, these FileMaker templates, they're completely free. That's right, you can download them right now if you haven't already without any charge. Now, once you download a FileMaker template, you're going to start off with a core file which has just the right amount of functionality to get you started managing your memberships and earn some easy wins right out of the box. But the real value of FileMaker templates, especially if you're interested in owning the customization yourself, are the build-ons. Now, build-ons, they're a list of suggested features or workflows that you can add or build into your core file through a series of online tutorials. So you can choose a build-on. Think of something like a lapsed donor report or creating committees to handle aspects of your campaigns. And we're going to walk you through step by step, click by click, on how to add that into your core file. So it's a great opportunity to pick and choose the best way to solve your problems at the right times without drowning your users in the noise of features they don't use, which again, I'm sure is an experience that we all have come across. Now, I'm sure many of you are giving me pause right now. You're thinking, Ryan, I've had tangible membership apps and solutions in my hands before, and okay, I get that. I'm well aware that for many of you, the journey to this webinar was paved because the technology in your company, it just hasn't worked out the way it was promised. You were promised a better service, but you're still wasting hours every week doing things like searching for unrelated documents and papers. Well, the reason for that is maybe because for too long, your company's leaned on appliance apps to manage your memberships. So I'm talking about limited apps which handle a task or component really, really well, but the appliance apps you're using, they aren't really built or meant to expand and evolve with the needs of your business. I mean, you can't expand what you don't have the ability to customize, right? So that spreadsheet that's tracking your donations right now, that's not going to magically mature into a fully relational CRM for your company. And then on the other hand, well, maybe your company is founded on these larger ironclad enterprise systems, which are extremely powerful. They're great, but for you, they're non-customizable without the aid of an IT team, which means your needs have most likely changed by the time your initial request is delivered. FileMaker's Workplace Innovation Platform is built to actually fill that gap between appliance apps and enterprise systems. So your business needs change, and it's your right to have a tool that has the flexibility and speed to change with them. So the point is, you're not just getting the right starting point with a template, but you're also getting the right platform. And what does that platform look like? Well, really quickly, FileMaker's Workplace Innovation Platform, it allows you to create or customize apps like the memberships template, and then continue to quickly change them as your business needs evolve. You can then share these custom apps with your team so they can access data and better provide their service wherever they work on any device that they're carrying. And you can integrate your custom apps with software services and other apps to remain a leader in your industry. Again, you're going to have the right starting point with these templates that are powered by the right platform, and you have the right ecosystem of learning paths and developers for support. So with that, let's dive into how the memberships template and FileMaker's premier workplace innovation platform can transform your business. So today, we're going to explore the memberships templates through the lens of a customer story that closely reflects stories we hear on a daily basis. So we're going to work with a small youth sports league organization with about 6 day-to-day employees. Now, fundraiser campaigns, they're extremely important for the health of the leagues, which support many surrounding communities. And currently, they'll track donations on spreadsheets dedicated to a specific campaign. So they'll also use paper forms at events, and then they'll manually re-enter data into that appropriate spreadsheet at a later date. So they get the job done, but information is wildly scattered, and they're stuck in a rut. So the first thing we're going to do is help this organization start digitizing their information. So we're going to open the memberships template and see how easy it is to get started managing campaigns, members, and donations. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the memberships core file. Okay, so I went ahead and I signed up for the memberships template, downloaded it to my desktop, and this is the dashboard for the memberships core file. Now there's 3 main areas, and 3 of the most common areas that you'll likely track in something like a membership solution. So we have members, campaigns, and donation history. And there really is no right or wrong way to get started. If you want to start by creating new members, you could do that. If you wanted to view donation history, grab some information there, you can do that as well. But for our scenario, let's go ahead and create a brand new campaign. Again, this was previously captured in a single spreadsheet, but we're going to go ahead and again start digitizing the way that they do their business. Now we went ahead and clicked on the campaigns button. We're taken to this nice list which shows the existing and previous campaigns that we've run for this organization. And this is a nice feature that's automatically built into the template. If you wanted to, you could perform a find for the appropriate campaign or groups of campaigns, and then you could export that campaign out as a Excel form or PDF, or you could even print that campaign as well. But in our scenario, we want to create a brand new campaign. So let's click on this new campaign button here at the bottom left. Okay. Now there's different type of events that we have. We have smaller events like that golf tournament and raffle, bull roast and raffle. But one type of campaign that's really, really important to our success as an organization is the sponsorship renewal campaigns. So let's go ahead and we'll add that to our records here. And this is a campaign that might take a few months to complete. So we'll go ahead and make that date range appropriate. Okay, so this is a active campaign. And for our goal, let's go ahead and we'll say $8,000. We've come close to meeting that in previous years, and we really feel like we have some great momentum to make that happen this year. Now, one thing you may have noticed is that when I committed this value, up in the upper right corner, we have this nice chart that appears. It gives us the current total, current percentage, just a nice visual indicator of where we are in terms of success for this campaign. So we have the details for the campaigns. What's the next thing we want to do? Well, we probably want to add donations to this campaign. So let's click on the donations tab, okay? And I'm going to click on the add donation button down here at the bottom, and we have this nice card window that appears. And we can start selecting from our membership list. Now we have individuals and we have organizations who help us out throughout various campaigns, but in this scenario, we're really focusing on the organizations that we work with, like Blue Hills Winery, for example. So let's go ahead and we'll add a donation amount here. Let's say they're going to go ahead and give us 400. We'll go ahead and click create. We'll add another donation and another organization. We'll say that Creek River Filtration Systems, they are another fantastic company that we work with. They're going to go ahead and give us a 600. We'll go ahead and click create there as well. So really, really simple and easy way to add donations to your campaigns. And again, if you notice in the upper right corner, that chart and that goal and those totals, they automatically update as we're adding those donations. Okay, so right now we're at 12.5% to our goal just with these 2 companies. So fantastic start. Other things you can do in the campaign as well is you can add some interactions. So for example, if I click on this add interaction button, again, we have this nice card window that appears, and we can just make a note that we just did our first round of phone calls for this campaign, all right? And we can also add another interaction here. Let's say that we reached out to FileMaker and they want a call back in a week, okay? In a week. So we'll just go ahead and make that note here, okay? And we'll go ahead and click on create. Again, really simple, easy ways to manage our campaigns. Now let's take it a step further. Let's say that we are we're working, we're calling different companies, and we have this brand new contact list of people and companies that we want to talk to, but they're not in our system yet, right? So previously we had to get that information off of paper forms or spreadsheets, but now we can just automatically add that member right into our custom app for that centralized information. So let's jump back. I'm going to go ahead and click on the dashboard and go to our members area. Again, we have that nice list view of all the members that we have listed here. You can export them or as an Excel or PDF, just like you could with the campaigns. We're going to create a brand new member here. Okay, and as mentioned, we have individuals or organizations. This is going to be an organization, and the primary contact we'll say is Eric Frazier, and the organization is Frazier Law Firm. Okay, membership status, they are active, and we'll just add some information here as well. Okay, and we'll add a zip. All right, now we've added that member. Now we want to go ahead and add their donation to our current sponsorship renewal campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the donations tab, and instead of jumping to that campaign, I can add a donation right from this member's details view. So I'm going to click on the add donation button for the campaign. There's the sponsorship renewal campaign that we're currently running, so I'll go ahead and select that. And we'll say that they want to go ahead and add $500 there, okay? Now, one thing I wanted to highlight is the fact that, again, we didn't have to go to the campaign and add this particular law firm to the donations tab. We were just able to add that information directly from this members detail layout. Now, why is that? It's because we've already done a lot of the heavy lifting under the hood in terms of relationships and automation. So you don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about coming into the template and start adding your information. So what I mean by that is, if I take a look at this particular donation, I can click on this view campaign detail, that sponsorship renewal, and we can see the Frazier Romig Law Firm donation automatically appear here in campaigns. If we want to, we can also take a look at the donation history, and there is the Frazier Romig Law Firm donation, just like we expected. Again, all those relationships are built for you underneath the hood. You don't have to worry about diving into the file and making these things talk to each other. We already do that for you right out of the box. Now, let's talk about some navigation. You've already seen me click on a few different buttons and different types of menus. So how can you make your way through this particular file? One thing that you're seeing me use a lot is this dashboard view, and you can always access that from this layouts menu. So it's going to bring you back to this area where you have the different icons to navigate. So the core areas will always have a list view to start with, so you can easily search and find the appropriate records or records that you want to work with. And if you click on a particular record and view its detail, you'll notice on the left-hand side in the detail layout, we're working with a master detail list object. So you can, again, easily navigate to the appropriate records. In the upper right corner, we have this hamburger menu, and this is another easy way to get to the areas that you want to work with. And that's going to be available for you all throughout the core file and as you create your build-ons as well. Finally, we have the status toolbar open for you at the top. So if you want to navigate through additional records, you can use the native FileMaker tools to do so. You can also search for your records just like you would in any other FileMaker file as well. So that's just a really quick view of the memberships core file. All right, so the core file, it gave us just the right amount of functionality to get started, and we easily created and managed campaigns, members, and donations right out of the box, freeing up more time to transform our business. Now, some of you may be asking, well, what if I want to make some tweaks and personalize this app for my business? Well, the good news is these FileMaker templates are 100% completely unlocked. So let's explore how you can own the solution to your problem. Now you can immediately start customizing or personalizing these FileMaker templates right from this dashboard view. So if I scroll down a bit, there's this little settings button here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you'll see that we have that default logo provided for you, but if you want, you can go ahead and upload your own logo. Here we have this nice FileMaker Sports logo that we're going to use, so I'm going to go ahead and click on Done. And one thing that's great is, as you see me move throughout different layouts, that logo automatically stays in the upper left corner. Again, it's just a nice and easy way to personalize your custom app. Now, I did mention that each template file is 100% completely unlocked. And that's true. Let's take a quick peek under the hood. So I'm going to click on this Edit Layout button, and this takes us to Layout Mode. This is where you can design the look and feel of your FileMaker custom app. And you'll notice that when we design these layouts, there really isn't anything hidden here. There aren't a lot of objects on here. These layouts were purposely streamlined so that you could come in here and easily customize them or personalize them however you wanted to. And again, all throughout the file, we're using best practices to make it much easier for you to come in and make changes. If we do a really quick peek under the hood, if I get to File Manage Database, you'll see that we have the tables listed here and the fields listed here associated with those tables, and we're using the best practices in terms of naming conventions with our fields. And with relationships, we're using an anchor buoy model. It's just which we feel is a little bit more accessible for a new user in terms of what we wanted to achieve here, okay? So could we start customizing this custom app for our needs? We definitely could. So let's go ahead and let's create a brand new field. Again, we're a youth sports organization. I'd like to have a field here that really captures the different leagues that we provide and which campaign is tied to a particular sport that we support. So I'm going to go over here on the left-hand side, and in our campaign table, I'm going to create a brand new field, and we'll just call this league, okay? And let's choose this label up top, and I'm going to drag this over onto our layout right about here, okay? Now, one thing I did want to do is I wanted to make this a drop-down menu because I'm going to have a few different options for the league type. So I'm going to jump over into our inspector, and I'm going to change that control style from an edit box to a pop-up menu, okay? And we're going to go ahead and create a brand new value list, and we'll just call this league type. And I'm going to say all, I'm going to say baseball, football, soccer, and field hockey, okay? So go ahead and click OK. Certainly we could create more options if we wanted to, but let's go ahead and we will exit that layout. And now we can work with this change that we have. For the league, I can say, okay, this pizza kit fundraiser, you know, that was across all of our leagues. The golf tournament and raffle, maybe this was just for the football, and for the bull roast, maybe this was specifically for field hockey. And then we can build some reporting off of this value later on, so we can see how much we've earned for each particular league, right? But we can't share equipment and fields and refs and uniforms across the other sports, so it's nice to know how much money we would have donated for each particular sport that we support. Now, so we've made an aesthetic change with the logo. We've We've added a new field to personalize this a little bit more in terms of the league options. Let's make one additional change just to the automation, the way that this particular layout or this particular custom app works. So I'm going to jump over to our members layout, okay? And again, one important status that we have is a list of active and inactive. And it would be great just to view a list here of which members are active and which members are inactive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into layout mode, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this from number of rows 8 to 7. I'm going to give myself just a little bit of space here. And I'll go ahead and drag this down a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a button bar over here onto my layout, okay? So we'll just draw that onto our layout here, okay? And I have 3 buttons, so I'll have 3 different actions. And really, again, all I want to do is sort this by, I want to view everyone, do I want to view who's active, or do I want to view who's inactive, okay? So I'm just going to have the first button say all, then the second button will say active, and the third button will say inactive, okay? So right now our buttons aren't doing anything. So we'll have to create a script to attach to the button so that it performs an action. But right now we don't have a script that will perform exactly what we want it to do. So I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new script, and we'll just call this sort memberships master detail, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And we're essentially going to write just a really quick conditional script, right? If it is essentially the all button, do X. If it's the active button, do Y. And if it's the inactive button, do Z, okay? So we're going to first create our conditional if. We'll say if the get script parameter equals all, then I want you to just show all the records. Otherwise, if the get script parameter equals active, then we'll say perform a find where the member status field equals active. Okay, click OK. Otherwise, if the button that we're going to click is the inactive field or inactive button, then go ahead and perform a find for the inactive records. Go ahead and click OK there. All right. Now, really simple and straightforward example, but we have the all button set to run this particular script here. And for the parameter, it will be all, okay? And then for our next button, we will say, go ahead and perform that same script. And this will be active, okay? And then for our next button, we'll say perform that script again. But I only want you to perform the find for the inactive records, okay? So you can also really quickly add some formatting to the state of the object. So we can say that if it's active, we want the text to be blue, okay? If it's inactive, text will be gray, same thing. Pressed, let's make sure that it's blue. Okay, and then let's go ahead and we'll turn off the dividers here. This row. Let's take these lines out. Okay, so we'll exit that layout. And now the way it works is if we click on show all, We show active. We're now viewing 33 of 41. And as we scroll through our master detail, you can see that we have only the active records available here. If we click on inactive, we're now viewing 8 of those 41 records, showing just the inactive members here. And again, we click on all, we now can sort through and go through everyone, okay? So just a really quick example. Again, we did 3 levels of customization aesthetically. We added a new logo. We added a field to kind of help personalize this. And then we started making some customization to the automation and the way that we would navigate through our custom map. Again, the files are completely unlocked, so you can add and personalize and change and edit whatever makes the most sense for the way that you do business. So we're already seeing some ROI with the core file, but now we're ready to take it a step further. Delegating tasks and committees, that plays a huge role in the success of our business, especially considering our small employee count. And effective communication with our members and prior donors, well, that's another important key to our success. So let's leverage the membership templates committees build on, and we'll see how easy it is to assign members and roles to help you run efficiently. And we'll then use the email templates built on to help us save more time and reach out to our members much more efficiently as well. Okay, for this next section, I'm going to step out of this core file that we've been working with and jump into a second file. And this file has some build-ons already pre-built into the file, just in the interest of time. Now, we talked about it at the top of the webinar, but just as a refresher, again, what are build-ons? Well, let me take you to the memberships template web page. And this is where you can learn more about the core file. Again, you can download the template, but as we scroll down, there's this section for build-ons, and this is the real power of your FileMaker templates, right? You can kind of pick and choose what workflows you want to add to your template file to help make your day-to-day much more efficient and much more productive. And the way it works is, let's say that we were to build or add the build-on for committees. Well, we go to the committees build on, and again, this is presented in a fashion really similar to the Custom App Academy, if you're familiar with that. But we're going to walk you through step by step, click by click on how to make that happen, how to make this committees workflow added to your core file functionality. So you can kind of, again, pick and choose what makes the most sense for your business, and then you add it into your core file. Now, let's jump back into the file that we're going to work with, and we're going to be working with the committees build on, which we have a new icon here in our file. And the email templates build on, we have 2 new icons here that we're going to be working with. But first, let's focus on committees. Now, as mentioned, delegating to different members of our community and different members of our group is really important, especially considering our company is so small. You can see that we have some committees here. This is just some of the dummy data that comes with the build-ons file, but I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new committee, okay? And we're just going to call this the sponsorship renewal team, okay? Status is active, and it's really simple to start adding members. So I'm going to click on this add member button, and we can just start choosing some of our team here. Again, we have individuals and organizers. So we'll just go ahead and select a few people here and go ahead and click OK. Now that we have our members here, we can go ahead and assign them some roles. So again, I'm going to go ahead and click on the roles button. Okay. So we can say that Angela is the president, Brooke is the secretary, treasurer, and then we'll have Daniel will be the head of the marketing, because we're going to be creating a lot of materials and things like that for our sponsorship campaigns. So go ahead and click OK. Again, really simple to get this information right into your custom app. And if you wanted to, you can remove these roles just as easily over here on the right hand side. If I want to say that Brooke is stepping down, I'm going to go ahead and just remove her from the committee. That simple. Not a lot to it, but it gives us, again, a better way to start organizing how we want to approach these campaigns instead of just having random spreadsheets spread across. Now, kind of just like what we were talking about in the core file functionality, everything is tied together. So if we jump to members, okay, and we click on Angela account, you'll see that there's a new committees tab, and if we click on that, we can see that she is the president for the sponsorship renewal team, and she is also treasurer for a different committee as well. And just like we could do from the committees layout, if we want to remove Angela from this view, if Angela feels that maybe having two roles is too much, especially this president role for this new committee, then we can just remove her from this committee here. And if we jump back to committees and sponsorship renewal team, you'll see that we only have two people now listed in our members list. So that's a really quick view of committees. Let's jump back to our dashboard and talk about email templates. Now, having effective communication is extremely important for the success of our campaigns, but we don't want to have to type out an email every single time we send out some communication to our members or our previous or future donors, especially for those emails that we send out on a more frequent basis. So having something that was preset for us within this custom app would save us a lot of time. So I'm going to click on new template and create a brand new template for an email that we send out frequently. And we frequently send out reminders, right? And again, it would be nice to have an email here that we wouldn't have to type every single time. So this is going to be for the sponsorship renewal campaign, the sponsorship renewal notice. Description, this is going to be for a renewal notice for previous donors, okay? And the subject will be reminder, league opening day in 1 month, okay? And the body, we could type out whatever we wanted to, but just for the sake of this demo, we'll just say, thank you for your previous donations to our league. Please contact the team for future sponsorship opportunities. Okay, all right. So we have a sponsorship reminder notice here. All right. Now, the next thing we want to do is send out this template to the right group of people. So I'm going to jump back to the dashboard, and I mentioned that we have two different icons here. One is the send emails icon, so let's go ahead and click on that, okay? Now, if we wanted to, we could send an email out to all of our members, but we want to send it out to, let's say, a specific group of people. So let's just go ahead and we'll perform a find using FileMaker's native find tool for our members and send to Clara, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and click on the send email button. All right. Now, from this title field, I can choose what email template that you've created do you want to use here. I'm going to say the sponsorship renewal notice. Okay. There is the fields automatically populated with the information that we had. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the send button. All right, and there is the email automatically populated with the email addresses from the group that we just performed a search for, or performed the find for. We have the subject that we wrote in the email template, and the body is filled out in that email template as well. Again, just saving us time. We can edit this template if we want for the future, but the point is, we can now just quickly and easily, in just 2 clicks, send out an email to the appropriate group for just a better way to communicate with our community. Well, look at how far we've come just using this memberships template. So we centralized our data and we created a better way to manage delegations, resulting in less hands in cookie jars and more time to focus on more productive tasks. We streamlined a better way to communicate with our community, saving us even more time to focus on better work. So these were all really easy, achievable, and really impactful wins, and we're just starting our customer journey. So that was a quick overview of the memberships template, and for our fictional company, this template was a really important role in steering them in the right direction. And really, that just mirrors stories that we hear from customers leaning on the FileMaker Workplace Innovation Platform every single day. Well, our session is almost over, so that means it's almost time to head over to FileMaker's website and download the memberships template if you haven't already. Explore that core file and then try your hand at adding a build on or two that might make sense for your business. From there, you can continue diving into the FileMaker platform through resources like our free online tutorials and the Custom App Academy, the free FileMaker community forums, or other online tutorials like FileMaker's lynda.com track. Or if it makes more sense, check out FileMaker's website, find a partner page, and sync up with a trusted partner who is invested in your success. There are over 50,000 global FileMaker developers, and they're all excited to help execute your vision. All right, it's Q&A time. So as a reminder, if you want to ask a question or make a comment, open up your GoToWebinar control panel, click on that question section, enter that question, and click on send. All right, and just give me a minute or two to review the queue that we have here. And in the meantime, a lot of people are asking, yes, you'll get a copy of the recording at the end of this session so you can follow along at your own pace. It'll also be posted later on in the FileMaker community forum, so you can watch that there as well. All right, we have a lot of questions concerning the email piece that we just went through, so let's start off with there. Can you put photos or logos in the email? With this particular build on, you can't. There are email plugins that allow you to do so in the FileMaker 17, but as shown in our public roadmap, there will be support for HTML emails, so you could do something like that in a future version of FileMaker. But talking about today in market, in order to add those photos or logos, you'd have to use a plugin to allow you to do so. So absolutely, you can do it right now, just it's not native to the FileMaker experience. The next question, can you add fields in the custom emails? You absolutely can. Now, in the build on, we just created the fields for you, then we put that into the email. We compiled it into the email. But if you want to send out your own custom email, if you didn't want to use that particular build on experience, you definitely can. You can incorporate literal text. You can add fields and send that along. So something that you'll commonly see, for example, is like you want to add like an invoice number or a order number, pulling that from a field and having that in the body of your message. Absolutely, you could do that. Or if you want to concatenate a few things like a first name, last name, you could do that in the greeting. So definitely you can. The build on here was just meant to give you like a really simplistic and accessible experience. But if you wanted to add emails and make it a little bit more complex, you can certainly do that. You just have to take it a little bit step further than what the build on offers. The next question, let's see. Should we stick with emails? What do you think? How can you connect your email account to FileMaker? So there's two ways that FileMaker can send out an email, okay? It's either through your default email account, so whatever you have set up as your default email account on your operating system, right? So like on your laptop, I'm using Mail. Or you can tell FileMaker to send that email directly to the SMTP server, right? So if you want, so coming back to your question, if you wanted to have FileMaker connect to your email account, it's more so, setting up what the default email account is on your operating system. Let's see. A lot of people are asking whether this template will work with FileMaker 16 or prior versions. This template is designed to work with FileMaker 17, so it's designed right now to only open with FileMaker 17. If you wanted to, you could open it up in FileMaker 17, turn off that setting in file options, and then open up in a previous version. But we're using techniques and features that are only available in 17, like that master detail list, which you'll find throughout almost all the layouts in this core template file, right? So if you open that up in an earlier version, it's, you're going to have like an empty space, or I believe it's going to be like a object with like an X through it. So it's not going to be the best experience, right? But if you wanted to open it up and kind of, use it as a learning experience and see the techniques and methodologies that we're using, that would be great. I would just say that if you want to use it for something in production, definitely use it in FileMaker 17. The next question, let's see. We were talking about okay, we had some questions about the WebDirect build-on for the this memberships template. There is a WebDirect build-on. Unfortunately, considering time, we didn't cover that. But really, when you're bringing something to the web, it's really just a few steps. It's making sure that it's hosted by FileMaker Server or FileMaker Cloud, that the web publishing or WebDirect is enabled in your FileMaker Cloud or FileMaker Server. And then in the custom app itself, you want to make sure that at least one account has an extended privilege for FM WebDirect, right? It just means that one account is able to access your file via the WebDirect technology, right? And then what FileMaker will do is it'll take that file that you've already created and it will just automatically turn it into the web browser for you. So you don't have to worry about recoding anything in HTML, generating any additional code. You don't have to worry about creating any of the CSS. FileMaker just does all that heavy lifting for you on the back end, so it'll just automatically open up on a web browser. That said, there are some best practices that you want to follow for deploying your solution on WebDirect. So if you go to FileMaker's website in our technologies section of our website, there is some pages dedicated to WebDirect, and there's a guide dedicated to WebDirect that follows the best practices for designing layouts for WebDirect and different object behaviors in WebDirect. The fidelity between FileMaker Pro Advanced, the desktop experience, and the web browser experience, it's really, really close. But there are some things that you want to keep an eye on as you deploy that method. But in general, just high level looking down, it's really only about 2-3 clicks to get your solution over onto the web. The next question, let's see, as we scroll through here, instead of a pop-up menu, how would you create a searchable list that is filtered as you type to find the campaign or member, etc.? Well, there is that quick find that is native into the FileMaker status toolbar in the upper right corner. You can just start typing in there and it'll automatically search across that layout that you're on right now, or whatever layout you're on. You can also, this is a technique that developers will do where they'll create their own kind of like filtered search using script triggers, which is like a user-oriented action, right? Like, so we created a script today where if you clicked on the button bar, it would fire off a script, but there are also script triggers based off of user actions like entering a field or exiting a field, or when a value in that field is saved, right? Then perform a script, right? So as you're typing, a name or an organization, for example, with each keystroke, you could have a search performed across the found set of records that will give you that filtered list as you type functionality that you're looking for. So there's different techniques on that, but if you do a search online in like our FileMaker community, I'm sure there's it's a topic that's been discussed many times. There's examples out there, so you should be able to find some information on that. But again, we do have that quick find, which you could use in the upper right corner if you just want to do a search across the found set on that layout. All right, the next question let's see. Can you run this membership template on a FileMaker server for multiple users to access? Absolutely. So this template file is just like any other FileMaker custom file. Just has some hours of work in them. But again, it's just like a FileMaker custom app that you've built at home, right, or in the office. So you can host it via FileMaker Server. You can host it via FileMaker Cloud. You can share it with your teams, and you can make and access data in real time. So it's, again, as we showed today, it's completely 100% unlocked. So you can do whatever you want with it, whether that's changing the look and feel of the custom app, or hosting it, or even integrating it with other applications out there. You could do that with this particular file. Let's see. Can a member have more than one type, like a speaker or a board member? If we're talking about like the committees, absolutely. Like we showed, you can have someone assigned to different committees if you wanted to. If they want different titles on the same committee, I don't believe you can choose their same name twice. So you would have to enter their titles in that role field. Again, you could change that experience, but again, we took just like a really simplistic approach. So you would just have to enter that multiple roles in that one role listed there. The next question. Let's see. Is there an easy way to assign individuals to a single organization and or to multiple organizations? So in this template file, we just, again, if you look about the core functionality, we kept it really simple. It's just members, campaigns, and donations, right? So, and then when you create a member, it's just a field that associates is this an organization or is this a individual? If you wanted to take it a step further and you wanted to say, okay, well, some of these members could be associated with a particular organization, then you could do things like maybe you split out the tables, right? So you have an organization table and you have a memberships table, so that you could tie multiple memberships or members to a organization. That's one thing that you could do, and it would allow you to have a member or multiple members, have them defined across to a specific organization that you wanted them to be associated with. So in out of the box core file, you can't do that, but you're just talking about relating things to other things, and that is core to the FileMaker platform. So you could absolutely do that. You just have to kind of build that into the memberships template. Let's see. Next question. We'll take about maybe 2 or 3 more. As an add-on in this template, can donations be accepted via a web portal, payment, credit card, etc., as opposed to hand entered? Again, you can, and people have built that in FileMaker natively. FileMaker won't, speak to those type of payment services, but there are ways you can have FileMaker, integrate with them. There's software plugins out there. I'm thinking about like 360works Plastic plugin, for example. They will handle that piece. If that data is stored in like a system and you want it to be pulled down, you could have FileMaker's REST API support, for example, bring that information into FileMaker. Not necessarily you wouldn't want like the credit card information, but if you wanted like the donation amount, you could pull that as long as you had like access to that. So there's some variables there. Really just comes down to, okay, when you're getting that information, where is it stored, where can FileMaker pull it from? Likely it would be something like a website, and FileMaker could pull that information. So as long as it supported one of FileMaker's integration paths, like again, like a REST API, then you could pull that information right into FileMaker without having to manually enter that donation. I have emails that need to be customized for each donor. Can you insert a donor name in the emails template? You can. So again, the way that the built on is configured, it's like an email sent out to all the people in like that BCC, but you have control if you wanted to. You could tweak it, or you could create your own custom emails. where you can have one email sent to each specific donor, right? So you could perform a find for like 50 records, for example, and you could send out a customized email for each one, right? Like you could have fields associated in that body, and like that field data would be dynamic and only display information appropriate to that particular person, right? Like a first name or last name field, for example, or like an appropriate sales order number, right? So you could do that. You have control over that. In the build on that we showed, and the build on that's available, it's not set up that way, but again, you can absolutely create create that functionality in your own custom app, no problem. All right, let's do one more. Let's see. Is there a way for an online user to complete and submit a form to subscribe as a member with name and email to FileMaker Server on our in-office server? Okay, so what they're essentially asking is, okay, Ryan, you have a memberships template. There's members, there's campaigns, there's donations. Do you have a piece where members can just log in via a website and maybe make a donation there and have it automatically reach back to the FileMaker custom app or that memberships template that you have? That's a fantastic idea. In terms of the build-ons, that's not an available build-on, but you can absolutely build that in, right? So you can have, we have our WebDirect technology again, which is a web browser front end. We talked about it in the Q&A a little bit, and we talked about it in our slides for the FileMaker platform. But you could, if you wanted, have like a membership sign in there. They could view their donation history if you wanted. They can make a payment there. You can build that in there as well. And all of that, that website is already, WebDirect is already touching the FileMaker custom app on the back end. You could also have a third-party website if you wanted, and then have that third-party website, integrate with FileMaker through like an API bridge, like that REST API bridge, right? Like if you had like WordPress, for example, as your front end, or if you had an existing website, you can have, again, that REST API talk to it. Or if you have an existing website with something like SQL on the back end, you could have FileMaker build a bridge through another technology that we have called ESS, and have all of that data automatically get pushed into FileMaker in real time. So there's a lot of flexibility there. The point is, if you wanted a web browser front end for your members where they could perform some tasks or actions and have that information automatically be displayed in your FileMaker custom app, the answer is yes, you can do that. With this particular build-ins or template, it's not there, so you'd have to just add it into your custom app, but you absolutely could achieve that workflow if you wanted it. All right. That's all the time we have for today. I apologize if we didn't get to your question. We have so many questions here. I would have loved to stay here all afternoon and go over them with you, but on behalf of FileMaker, it was my absolute pleasure chatting with everyone today. Definitely hope that you learned something that you could bring into your own custom apps, or if you felt like this is a good starting point, you could use the membership templates and apply it to your own workflows. And I definitely hope to see everyone on a future webinar as well. Have a fantastic rest of your day, everyone.